The scholarship fund. The day the account went silent. For 18 years, I built that fund one quiet sacrifice at a time. Not with dramatic gestures, not with lottery wins, not with inheritance, but with discipline. Every month on the first Monday, I transferred money into a college account under my grandson Adam's name. It didn't matter whether I felt secure or stretched thin. The transfer happened. Vacations? Canceled. New jewelry? Sold. Weekend brunches? Rare. When my friends traveled to Europe, I stayed home and clipped coupons. When others upgraded their cars, I kept mine another 5 years. Because education is not an expense, it's protection. And I had learned, painfully, that protection matters. Adam was only 6 months old when I opened the account. His tiny fingers had wrapped around mine that day, and I remember thinking, you will never depend on anyone who cannot be trusted. I didn't know then that the person he would one day need protection from would be my own son. Daniel was always charming, too charming. As a child, he could talk his way out of punishment with a smile and a promise. As a teenager, he borrowed money with elaborate stories. As a man, he chased opportunities the way others chase stability. Mom, I just need a little capital. Mom, this deal is different. Mom, you have to believe in me. I did. For years, I did. Until belief became blindness. The call came on a Wednesday afternoon. Mrs. Whitmore, the university administrator asked politely, we're following up regarding Adam Whitmore's tuition payment. The deadline has passed. I frowned. That's not possible, I said calmly. The funds were scheduled for transfer this week. I'm afraid we haven't received them. Something inside me went very still. I'll look into it immediately. I hung up, and for a moment, I just stared at the wall. Then I logged into the account. Balance, $0.00. Not low, not delayed, not pending, zero. For a few seconds, I thought I had opened the wrong page. I refreshed, again, and again, still zero. My hands began to tremble, not wildly, but with a quiet, controlled vibration that comes when shock meets disbelief. I checked the transaction history. There it was, a full withdrawal, 2 weeks ago. Authorized signature, Margaret Whitmore. My name, but not my signature. I didn't scream. I didn't cry. I called Daniel. He answered on the third ring. Hey, Mom. His voice was relaxed, too relaxed. Where is the money? I asked. A pause. What money? The scholarship fund. Silence. Then a sigh. Mom, I was going to tell you. That sentence has ended more trust than betrayal ever could. You took it, I said quietly. It's temporary. How much did you take? All of it. My breath caught. That was for Adam. And it still is, he said quickly. I invested it. High return opportunity. It'll double in 6 months. Invested where? Another pause. Vegas. My stomach dropped. In what? A private gaming partnership. Daniel, I said slowly, are you telling me you gambled your son's tuition? It wasn't gambling, it was strategic placement. How much is left? Silence. Daniel, it didn't go as planned. The room felt smaller. 18 years, 18 birthdays, 18 Christmases where I chose savings over spending. Gone. In a weekend. I'll fix it, he insisted. I just need time. You forged my signature. You would have said no. Yes. That's why I didn't ask. There it was. Not desperation. Entitlement. I ended the call. Then I called the bank, fraud department. "My name is Margaret Whitmore, and I need to report a forged withdrawal." The representative asked careful questions: date, amount, access credentials. "Do you suspect someone specific?" "Yes." "Who?" "My son." Even saying it felt like breaking glass in my own chest. By evening, I had filed an official fraud report. By nightfall, I had contacted the police. They asked if I wanted to press charges. I hesitated, because pressing charges against a stranger is justice. Pressing charges against your child feels like betrayal. Then I remembered Adam's acceptance letter, the pride in his voice when he said, "Grandma, I'm going to study engineering." I signed the complaint. Daniel called at midnight. "You called the bank?" "Yes." "You involved the police?" "Yes." "Mom, are you crazy?" "No." "You'll ruin me." "You ruined yourself." "I was going to fix it." "With what money?" Silence. Then anger. "You always loved Adam more than me." The accusation hit hard, but it wasn't true. "I loved you enough to teach you consequences," I said quietly, and I hung up. 2 days later, the bank confirmed what I already knew. The signature was forged. The security footage showed Daniel at the branch, calm, smiling, confident, as if it were his. The detective assigned to the case was direct. "Mrs. Whitmore, your son withdrew $184,000. He attempted a wire transfer the following day to an offshore account." My pulse quickened. "Is the money recoverable?" "Unlikely." "Where is he now?" "We're tracking his movements." I nodded. "I want to proceed." He studied me carefully. "You understand this could lead to felony charges?" "I understand." "And prison?" I closed my eyes briefly. "Yes." That night, I sat alone in my kitchen. The house was quiet, too quiet. I thought about Daniel as a little boy chasing fireflies in the yard. I thought about his first broken heart. I thought about every scraped knee I kissed better. Where did I fail? Or had I protected him too much from failing? Sometimes love that cushions too softly becomes permission. 3 days later, the detective called again. "We believe your son has booked a flight to Mexico, departure tomorrow morning." Running. Of course he was running. "He'll be stopped at the airport," the detective assured me. "Thank you." But my voice didn't sound like mine. It sounded older, colder, stronger. The next morning, my phone rang at 9:17 a.m. "He's in custody." I sat down slowly. "What did he say?" The detective exhaled softly. He kept repeating, "My mom will fix this." I closed my eyes. No, not this time. The price of consequences. When they arrested Daniel at the airport, he was wearing a navy blazer and carrying a single leather duffel bag. Not the suitcase of a man going on vacation, the bag of a man running. Inside it were $12,000 in cash, 2 credit cards in different names, and a printed itinerary for Cancun with no return date. He had planned to disappear, and he truly believed I would clean up what he left behind. The news traveled fast. Family members called first. "Margaret, maybe this is a misunderstanding. It's too extreme to involve the police. He's your son." Yes, he was. And that was exactly why I had to do it. Because if I didn't, Adam would learn the most dangerous lesson of all, that blood erases accountability. Daniel's arraignment was scheduled for Friday morning. I sat in the courtroom alone. The room smelled faintly of old wood and paper, the scent of consequences processed daily. When they brought him in, his wrists cuffed, he looked smaller. Anger replaced charm. Shock replaced confidence. His eyes scanned the room until they found me. "Mom," he breathed. Not loud, not dramatic, just certain. Certain I would stop this. I didn't move. The charges were read clearly: forgery, grand larceny, wire fraud attempt. Each word landed like a hammer. Daniel kept glancing at me, waiting. The judge set bail at an amount he couldn't afford. He looked panicked then. "This is insane," he shouted. "It was a family matter." The judge didn't blink. Stealing $184,000 is not a family matter. After the hearing, the prosecutor approached me. "Mrs. Whitmore, are you prepared to testify if necessary?" "Yes." "No intention to withdraw the complaint?" "No." She studied me carefully. Most parents change their minds. Most parents don't watch 18 years disappear in a weekend. She nodded and walked away. I hadn't told Adam yet. I wanted to protect him, but protection built on silence becomes betrayal too. So that evening, I asked him to come over. He arrived with textbooks under his arm, smiling like always. "Grandma, what's wrong?" I gestured for him to sit. "There's something you need to know." As I explained, his face slowly changed. Confusion first, then disbelief, then something that looked like grief. "Dad took it?" he asked. "Yes." "All of it?" "Yes." "For gambling?" "Yes." Silence. Then he did something that broke my heart more than anything else. He apologized. "I should have checked in more. I should have—" "No," I interrupted firmly. "You are not responsible for your father's choices." He swallowed hard. "Is he going to jail?" "Yes." Another silence. Then quietly, "Good." Not out of cruelty, but clarity. A week later, I visited Daniel in county jail. The room was cold, glass between us, phones for voices. He looked tired now. No blazer, no polish, just a man stripped of illusion. "You didn't have to go this far," he said immediately. I did. "You could have handled it privately. You tried to flee the country." He didn't deny it. I panicked. "You calculated." He gripped the phone tighter. "You don't understand the pressure I was under. Explain it to me." He hesitated. Then something shifted in his eyes. Not manipulation, fear. I owed people. "What people?" "Private lenders." My stomach tightened. "How much?" "More than what I took." "How much, Daniel?" $300,000. The air left my lungs. "For what?" He looked down. "It started with small losses. I thought I could recover. Then interest stacked. Then threats." "Threats?" "They said they'd come after Adam if I didn't pay." My heart froze. "Why didn't you tell me?" "Because you would have looked at me like this." He gestured vaguely, like I was a mirror he couldn't stand. The debt wasn't just recklessness, it was spiral, and instead of asking for help, he gambled more to escape it, with his son's future. Did anyone hurt Adam? No. Were the threats real? Yes. Are they still active? He hesitated. I don't know. I left that jail with a new fear. Money can be rebuilt. Safety cannot be risked. The prosecutor later confirmed something chilling. Daniel had been borrowing from illegal lenders connected to underground gambling networks. The withdrawal from the scholarship fund wasn't about profit, it was about survival. But survival built on theft is still theft. Daniel eventually accepted a plea deal, reduced charges in exchange for admission of guilt and restitution agreement. 2 years in state prison, 5 years probation, mandatory financial accountability program. When the judge asked if he had anything to say, he looked at me. I thought my mother would always protect me from consequences, he said quietly. The courtroom was silent. I was wrong. And for the first time, I saw not arrogance, but shame. After sentencing, I sat in my car for a long time, not crying, just breathing. Grief is strange. It doesn't only come when someone dies. Sometimes it comes when illusions do. The scholarship fund was gone. The bank recovered only $11,000. Insurance covered a portion because of the confirmed forgery, but not all. I had a choice: retire quietly or rebuild. I chose rebuild. I sold the lake cabin, the one I had planned to spend my final years in. I downsized my house. I withdrew from my retirement investments earlier than planned, and I opened a new account. This time, Adam as sole beneficiary, two-factor authentication, no secondary authorized users, legal trust structure, protected, transparent, unbreakable. Adam offered to take student loans. He said, "I don't want you sacrificing more." I smiled. This isn't sacrifice, it's investment. But what if you need it later? Then I'll need the peace of knowing you were never trapped. Months passed. Daniel began serving his sentence. Adam started his semester. The first tuition payment from the new fund went through smoothly. I printed the confirmation receipt, framed it, not because of the money, but because of what it represented: recovery. One afternoon, I received a letter from Daniel, handwritten, no excuses, just accountability. He was attending financial counseling inside prison, working in the library, paying small restitution installments from prison wages. I finally understand that love without boundaries made me weak. Thank you for loving Adam enough to be strong with me. I read that sentence 3 times and allowed myself to cry, not for the loss, but for the lesson. Years later, when Adam graduated with honors, Daniel was there, not in the front row, but present, quieter, changed. After the ceremony, Adam hugged his father. Then he hugged me. "You saved my future," he whispered. I shook my head gently. "No," I said. "I just protected it." The scholarship fund still exists, but now it's more than money. It's a story about discipline, about betrayal, about courage, and about a grandmother who learned that sometimes the hardest form of love is letting the law teach what you could not. The end.